When we think of all of the Pokemon that are noteworthy in terms of VGC, 3 of the 4 Ruin Pokemon all come to mind. Chien-Pao and Chi-Yu are some of the most dangerous offensive threats in the game. Even with Landorus coming back, Tinglu is still a pretty noteworthy presence, though not what it was used to be at the very least. And then Wo-Chien. Wo-Chien just kind of existed, and until Worlds, it never really had a super strong tournament finish that people would say, oh my god, Wo-Chien really is that mon. But at Worlds, Joe UX9 got top 32 with Wo-Chien, and today we're going to be using that team, because it's a really terrifying team and I want to get to show it off. If you guys enjoy and want to see some more Wo-Chien content, like and subscribe for more, and with that said, let's get right into the team we'll be using today. So today's team was built by Joe UX9, one of the best battlers in the US, and probably in the world to be honest in the current gen. Joe has made 2 really strong Worlds performances in the past 2 World Championships, with top 32 this year, and I believe Joe got either, I want to say top 8 or top 4 at Worlds in 2022. I know he had a really strong show, but the specific placement is escaping me. Even outside of that though, Joe had some of the most consistent runs in the entire US circuit in the past 2023 season. So again, really noteworthy battler here making this team. And getting top 32 with a mon that most people didn't really think of making any real noteworthy splash at Worlds is pretty incredible. The team today we're going to be using starts with a Tera Poison Wo-Chien, which uses the Citrus Berry, and it actually ignores Leech Seed, which was a pretty common move on Wo-Chien up until now. Instead, you see Foul Play, Giga Drain, Snarl, and Protect. Between the Giga Drain giving recovery back as well as the Citrus Berry, you're able to get a lot of mileage out of this Pokemon, and with threats like Thundurus, for example, with Thunder Wave and Eerie Impulse is really good ways to just try and slow damage incoming. Well, slow, I guess just in general, Thunder Wave just stopping turns from happening, and then Eerie Impulse from special attackers incoming that would otherwise maybe pressure Wo-Chien. You can really get a lot of mileage out of this Pokemon in general. With the Tera Poison, you not only change your weakness to Urshifu's Close Combat into a resistance, but you also can change your weakness from Flutter Mane's super effective Fairy moves into a resistance, which is pretty useful because those are 2 very noteworthy threats that you now go from having your opponent know what attack to hit you with to now just taking that attack and then just completely walling it. With other partner slots, we do have an Intimidate Landorus, featuring the double genies of a healthy metagame with the AV Lando, using Rock Slide, Stomping Tantrum, Tera Blast, Flying, and U-Turn as a really good pivot. We have a Specs Flutter Mane because why not? And we have a Hex featuring as a 4th move here instead of a typical coverage option, which can take advantage of the Thunder Wave on the Thundurus, which is pretty good. Finally, we have Urshifu Rapid with Mystic Water and a very bulky spread at that. I'm not really sure the specific calcs, but I'm sure it takes advantage of things like Eerie Impulse Thundurus, as well as the Intimidate on Lando and the Tablets of Ruin on Wo-Chien even. And we have a Tera Fairy Heatran, which should be really useful for taking hits from mons like Urshifu, for example, specifically turning again the fighting weakness into a resistance, while also Fairy just being a really good defensive typing. It's a lot less prepped for than Tera Grass Heatran at the very least, while still giving a lot of good defensive merit. This one does feature Substitute, which is pretty cool, helps a lot with just mind games in general. But yeah, if you want to try the team yourself, link in the description to the pace as well as the rental on screen here. Let's get into the battles today.
Hello, we're here. We're starting right with the battles. This one I actually had to cut the team preview due to the fact that I forgot to turn off my AC and it was blaring pretty loud. But we're taking on a rain team today. I'll show the team in just a second. So these are the 6 mons we're taking on for round 1. It should be probably Urshifu Rapid with Rillaboom, Barraskewda, Torn, Pelipper, and Lando I. We ended up bringing Thundurus, Flutter Mane, Wo-Chien, and Lando. We still obviously have Urshifu and the other one in the back. Heatran, it's Heatran, okay. As far as my lead goes, so I do actually feel like I have a pretty good play here. We could honestly just go for a Wildbolt Storm, and I think I might even just go for Tera Water. That should be pretty good into the Barraskewda. Meanwhile, with Pelipper, I think with Flutter Mane, I'm actually just gonna go right into Wo-Chien. That should drop Barraskewda's attack as well as just giving me a really good switch into this Barraskewda. If my opponent switches into something like Landorus, I'm pretty okay with that. I can make necessary adjustments to this. Really, I guess my play with Landorus would probably just be to go for Eerie Impulse into it, since it will most likely be going for moves like Earth Power and Sandsear. So we'll just kind of have to see. But we're going to get the Tera Water off. This should be really helpful for Urshifu as well as for the... Honestly, it should be really helpful for everything on the team. I can't really think of a single Pokemon that would actually just want to take a hit from this thing. They're gonna go for Wide Guard. Ooh, Wide Guard, that kind of sucks actually. That really sucks. Okay, that's fine. I can still make this work. They can't really break my Thundurus, thankfully. Between the Barraskewda as well as the fact that we do just have a lot of... Like, we have so much damage just going off right now that I'm not really too concerned with this. So we'll just have to kind of make it work. It's going to be a little bit of a stalemate, but I can still take advantage of this properly thanks to the thanks to the Wo-Chien. For now though, I'm just going to go for a taunt into the Pelipper. Meanwhile, I am going to go for a Let's see. So what would they switch in here? I feel like... So they're trying to get around my Thundurus, and they're going to switch. They're probably going to go right into Lando. I could honestly just go for a Snarl this turn. Even if the Snarl doesn't really end up working, it still helps in case of Pelipper went for Hurricane to try and damage my Wo-Chien properly. So I'm not really too scared of this. They're going to go for Ice Fang. Okay, that should be negligible. Perfect. Oh my goodness. Are you kidding? There's no way that just happened. We still have the Taunt at least on the Raincore, and Wo-Chien still dropping attack is pretty big. But I'd be lying if I said that was good, because we could have definitely taken that Hurricane a bit better. Yeah, that Hurricane could have literally been a 3-8 KO, for example. Or, not a 3-8 KO, it could have done significantly less damage at the very least, though. Thankfully, we do have our Berry. It would have still popped a Berry. We would have probably had like another 20 or 30 health, which could have actually been pretty decent. That might have been the difference between taking multiple Hurricanes, yeah. So, a little annoying, I can't lie. We're going to definitely go for Snarl, though, plus the Wildbolt. My opponent will obviously get another attack off with the Barraskewda, and that's whatever. Did they get a crit that time? You're fucking... There's no way. Poor Wo-Chien, it's just not Wo-Chien's day. I mean, we took out the Raincore at least. That could be pretty decent. I might switch out Wo-Chien just to get the attack drop later on, depending on what the last 2 months end up being. But oh my goodness, there's no way this is how Wo-Chien is getting disrespected in game number 1. That's so fucked up of my opponent. Okay, well, we hate to see it. We really do. What are the last 2 rounds going to be? It's going to be Landorus. Okay, so Landorus did end up coming. And don't be Urshifu. It's Urshifu. Okay. So at bare minimum, what I can actually do, I can go for Thunder Wave or right into that Urshifu Rapid. If it's Scarf, actually, so my play, how fast is this Thundurus? I forget how fast Joe made the Thundurus. Do I creep Lando with this? I do not creep Lando again. My play is always then to go for a Thunder Wave right into the, well, I could also go for Eerie. Eerie actually would probably be a long-term better play, which sounds kind of weird, but I do like the idea of just going for Eerie and just weakening the Landorus. That might be a bit more beneficial. Especially when we don't know if this is like a Scarf Urshifu, for example, or really like what it's going to lock into. They're going to go for Landorus anyway. They're going to go for Tera Steel Landorus. Okay. That's actually pretty fine, because especially if that's not Scarf Urshifu, I can just... They're going to go for Detect. Okay. Detect is fine. We're going to get the Eerie Impulse off, thankfully. So, this is kind of when I wanted to make that play, because if it was a Scarf Urshifu, and I knew it was a Scarf Urshifu, I would have just Thunder Waved it. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But thankfully, though, thanks to the Eerie Impulse, we actually do take this hit with Thundurus, because they decided to just target right into me. On top of that as well, because of the fact that they went for Grass Knot, they're now also taking Rocky Helmet damage, which is pretty cool. And they revealed Life Orb, which I mean, Life Orb was pretty obvious to be fair, but they still revealed it. I actually don't need to Thunder Wave into the Landorus, the Urshifu. Frankly, I think my play is always just to go for, it's probably honestly just to go for Thunder Wave into the Landorus, if anything. Mostly just because then I can drop the speed for the Heatran, because then I can just attack it and not have to worry. Meanwhile for the sorry, I can't words right now. I'm too shook from the Wo-Chien hate that my opponent is given. But thankfully, oh, so my opponent Aqua Jets. Okay, so they're now hurting their Urshifu too. I was going to say that I'd love to just, you know, hope that they attack something and then either take Helmet Chip, or that I just get an attack off the Wo-Chien, or regardless, just breaking the sash that's probably on that, well, the sash that might be on the Urshifu, I should say. But again, they've kind of given me just a perfect setup here, where my opponent has now gotten their Landorus speed dropped. They've now broken any sort of random sash that may or may not be on the Urshifu. And on top of it as well, their range should be gone. No, I think they might be, I think they might just have... Oh my god, I can't talk. I think I might just have fucking Damprock on the Pelipper. Let me double check that. Because that could be useful. Yeah, they're Damprock. Okay. I thought I didn't miss Cow Rain turns, but I just want to be sure. So they're -2. I think I can actually just afford to go for a Moonblast here. Right into the Urshifu. And then I'm just going to go for a Snarl this turn in case I unthaw. And we'll just have to see. Because especially if they're going for Sandseers. Ooh, okay. Thankfully, they did not go for Detect, because that Moonblast will take out the Urshifu. I'm kind of shocked that didn't kill, I can't lie. I really thought that would just kill, but oh my god, Flutter Mane is just that mon. It really is just the best mon in the format right now. And Wo-Chien thawed out, and I forgot we're still confused, so we're not out of the woods yet.
Come on, Wo-Chien. Oh, thank God. Wo-Chien got to do something. To be fair, Wo-Chien's actually put up a ton of pressure, because I'm sure, well, I would have probably taken the Aqua Jet pretty well. The Wo-Chien just being on the field is probably the reason I took Aqua Jet plus Sanseer. So, I mean, even in general, Wo-Chien just put up so much defensive presence just by existing, really. Which is kind of insane to think about, because most of their Pokemon can't really just say that they're, by existing, doing this much work. But Wo-Chien is definitely one of them. It can really just put up a ton of pressure. Also, I know I've made my endgame plan around Heatran. I knew Lando was in the back, and either way, again, it doesn't really change that this was always my best endgame. But the point being is that I just needed to slow down the Lando, so it just did less. But yeah, so game number 1 is ours. Let's see you guys in game number 2. Okay, moving on to game number 2, we're taking on a very strong team. It's one of the Hisuian Arcanine Torn Tailwind teams. Honestly, just a pretty standard team right now. While a lot of the teams differ in things like items, moves, etc., the general playstyle of it is pretty much the same. So, in terms of my matchup here, I definitely need the Landorus. Let me double check the Landorus' Tera type. I'm pretty sure it's water. No, it's flying. Okay. I was gonna say, if it was water, I would definitely need Landorus as a good Tera option. I can still make this work with Wo-Chien, though. Wo-Chien actually provides a lot of the same utility that Tera Water Lando would have. But it also provides it from a partner slot, which is pretty cool. Actually, yeah, the Thundurus is the Tera Water one. Okay, I don't know why I thought Lando would be. Lando still is probably pretty useful here. I might just bring the same 4. The issue, well, actually, I was going to say the issue being is that I probably want to bring Heatran due to the fact that it would be a pretty good check to the Hisuian Arcanine. But Lando will honestly just do the job anyway. Like, I'm thinking about this from an offensive perspective when I've been playing so much offensive teams where it's like, okay, you know, Heatran's going to be my check to the Hisuian Arcanine, but I have an AV Lando, which will do the job better. Yeah, honestly, I think I just lead off with, this, I kind of want to lead the same lead I did last time and bring Lando and then Wo-Chien in the back. Wo-Chien, I think, will almost certainly be my Terramon of choice. In fact, yeah, I think I'm actually going to do this. I feel confident in this lead. I was going to say that I might switch up the Flutter Mane just to have a more immediate Lando lead. The issue being is that I don't actually think that I need to, and there's a good chance they just lead off with their own Flutter Mane, which, if they do, I think my play instead would probably just be to go for a Wildbolt turn 1 and then a Gleam with Tera Fairy, and that would get me a lot of immediate pressure. They're going to lead off with Chien-Pao. Okay, so Chien-Pao leading is actually perfectly fine as well. What I can proceed to do, so they're going to definitely probably attack right into my... Well, okay, so I could honestly just go for a Taunt into the Torn. The issue being is that some of these do actually run Mental Herb, so I could just go for Tera Water in all honesty. Tera Water would be decent. Yeah, I'm gonna go for Tera Water, and I'm gonna go for the Wildbolt Storm, and then I'm gonna go for Dazzling Gleam. I don't think they just go for Sucker Punch, especially if they're going for Tailwind. I think they'll favor Ice Spinner or Crash. If I lose my Flutter Mane, so be it. I don't exactly have a better switch in. Yeah, I don't really have a better switch in. Especially not before Tera. Yeah, I'm just gonna go for Gleam. Because Gleam, I think, will at least... I think Gleam at least gives me more rewards. And they might also just value targeting the Thundurus, too. Because Thundurus does put up a lot of pressure on their team. And it's kind of a hard mon for them to kill if they didn't bring Rillaboom, and I wouldn't be surprised if they left Rillaboom at home. Man, I made the video on Tera Poison Wo-Chien. I'm gonna have to change the thumbnail. Yet again, 3 for 3 on having to change the thumbnail, which is kind of funny. They do go for the Taunt. Okay, so they don't actually go for Tailwind, which could maybe end up benefiting me depending on the POW. They do end up being Adamant POW. Okay, that's perfect. And they're not even Sash. Okay, to be fair, I will say, while I do get the fact that this was kind of a nuanced play, if they were going to not be Sash POW, I actually don't think they had a choice in going for Tailwind or something else. But I'll take it. I'll take it either way. I'm not exactly a complainer here. It was a very risky play on their end that just did not pay off. Because them losing POW actually really hurts a lot of what they could do with this team. I'm kind of glad I didn't just overthink this, because if I did make a switch here, accounting for the fact they might have been Sash POW, which was why I actually made the Wildbolt play to begin with, then I could have ended up just screwing myself over very much. But this works out well. This works out very well. What I'm going to proceed to do there, Booster Speed Flutter Mane, that's fine. I'm just going to go for another Wildbolt Storm here. And then, actually, yeah, so never mind. I was going to go for Thunder Wave, but I forgot I'm taunted. Yeah, I'm just going to go for Wildbolt here. And then I'm going to go right into my, Wo-Chien here. I'm anticipating either a Shadow Ball or a Gleam from Flutter Mane, and either way, I'm fine taking that. Urshifu's definitely just going to go for a water move if it goes into Flutter Mane. Frankly, I think there's a good chance that Flutter Mane also just goes for something like a Moonblast or a Shadow Ball and goes for Tera right into my Thundurus, just specifically because they can't really break it otherwise, actually. Meanwhile, Urshifu can probably, especially if it's a Scarf Urshifu, which most of these Torn-Arcanine teams do actually run Scarf Urshifu, they very well just go for Scarf Surging Strikes right into the Flutter Mane and now Wo-Chien spot, which would actually probably be the best case scenario for me. If they're going to go for Surging Strikes on a Scarf Urshifu into that, because this field positioning right here is probably the best to take that. And even if they're going for like, oh, they Tera Grass, so they're, okay, then I know the exact team that they are running, and this is a Scarf Urshifu. Because it's the only version of the team I've actually seen that runs the Tera Grass Flutter. And yep, they're, oh wait. Oh, so I guess there's another version that has the Tera Grass Flutter. Okay, good to know. I do know the Calm Mind version of this team as well. I actually do have that pulled up right next to me because it was the team I almost ran today. Still should be a Scarf Urshifu for the record. But either way, I have not seen the Calm Mind version actually on ladder at all. It's a really cool version of the team, to be fair. But again, I just haven't personally ran it as all. I thought that they were going to be the Taunt, Icy Wind, Shadow Ball, and Moonblast spread, which would have still been fine for the record. It's a different version of the team, really. We're going to go for Wildbolt here, though, and then I'm going to go for Snarl, because there's not really a reason to not go for Snarl at this point. Thankfully, though, because of the fact that, actually, ooh, I kind of wish I switched out Thundurus, because I could have switched out Thundurus into Landorus, went for the Snarl this turn, and then I could have, I mean, to be fair, they're just gonna lose their Urshifu either way, and I could probably 2v1. It's just a little bit worse positioning, I guess. I think I could get my Thundurus freed from Taunt anyway next turn, which should be fine, because I was going to say I should just free my Thundurus from Taunt, go for Thunder Wave, and then try and beat Flutter Mane that way. This is fine. This is fine. I can still paralyze with Wild Bolt anyway. Oh, they're gonna go for Calm Mind. They're really fucking risking it. Because now if I just hit a Thunder Wave, they're screwed. They lose the game. Also, they're not Scarf Urshifu, so I don't actually know what version of the team they're running. They might have just made tweaks, in all honesty, to another team, which is totally valid. They could very comfortably do that. There's a lot of wiggle room with these sort of archetypes anyway. We do not get the para. And 2 Wildbolts and no para. It's kind of funny, but it is what it is. We'll take what we can get. Special attack fell. Okay, perfect. So we're now back to -1. Well, now back to +1, I should say. We're gonna go for Thunder Wave here, and then I'm gonna go for, I think I'm actually just gonna go for a Giga Drain here, in all honesty. By dropping the Flutter Mane speed, I think I can actually just barely outpace it with Landorus. I mean, even if not, I can just start firing off the Eerie Impulses in all honesty and just drop this thing special attack faster than it can attack me. Which is also fine, because at that point it's just a war of attrition. They would essentially need to go for the kill into my Thundurus this turn to be able to stop that, and if they do, I'll still have wiggle room with my team anyway, so I'm pretty fine. I am curious if they're just going to go for close combat right into Wo-Chien, though. If they do, good play. They are going to go for close combat into Wo-Chien, good play. We do take that. Holy shit, this Mon really is like the GOAT. Oh my goodness, Wo-Chien. I still think I'm gonna have to give it to the Thundurus, because the Thundurus has also just been too good. It's really, honestly, like, Joe did an incredible job with this team. He used a lot of mons that just, you typically don't see the usage for in this current format, despite them being good. Like, you don't see a lot of Wo-Chien usage. Hell, you don't see a lot of Thundurus usage, which really shocks me, because I actually think very highly of Thundurus right now. So it just kind of shocks me to see that people just don't use the mon. But it's really good. It's really fucking good. And honestly, again, Joe just did a good job at putting a lot of these mons on the map that currently are just getting very neglected. We're going to go for Gleam, though, and we're going to go for the Eerie Impulse. At this point, my job is just to drop the special attack on the Flutter Mane so it can't kill my team. It is currently a +1 Flutter Mane. Yeah, it's +1, which means it's now going to go to -1. It definitively cannot kill me with Shadow Ball. I know that for a fact. I know my calcs too well. And meanwhile, we're also going to get a Specs Gleam off into this, which, to be fair, it's still +2. I'm not really doing damage to Flutter Mane, but that's not what this is about. It's more so just to lock a move that can kill Urshifu when the time comes. So, yeah, that's really all I'm caring about right now. They are going to go for the Shadow Ball here. That's perfectly fine. Ooh, okay, so I definitely need to go for the Wildbolt this turn. They are still, yeah, so the Wildbolt is mostly just to get an attack off into the Thundurus, into the Urshifu that will kill it, because I do need that spot kind of just knocked out before I ever get my Landorus here, since I cannot let myself just take a Surging Strikes. If they don't have Aqua Jet, then this works out fine, because my Flutter Mane Gleam will go off before anything else anyway, and that's really all I care about this turn. But we've seen Detect, Surging Strikes, and Close Combat. I'm assuming the last move is Aqua Jet. I doubt that's a Sword Stance set right there. Though, again, it's something that is kind of around with Torn, where they just will ditch Aqua Jet. I still don't think that's where we're at in the format again. They're going for Protect. Okay, so I can kind of get that. They want to just take out the Flutter Mane, but unfortunately it just didn't work out for them. So they probably didn't have Aqua Jet. If they did have Aqua Jet, they would have clicked it there, and they would have just secured the KO. But I'll take it. Because now my Flutter Mane's honestly kind of useless. My Landorus will be the mon picking off with, honestly, just whatever I want to go for. Because the physical attacks will just do so much more to Flutter Mane at this point, that my own Flutter Mane is just kind of fodder. So we'll take the KO on Flutter. And now at this point we have an AV Landorus next to Thundurus. The double genies of a healthy meta, if you will. I can just go for Eerie Impulse into Flutter Mane until it dies, and just start clicking attacks with my Landorus until it dies, because that's all I need to do. So we're going to go for Eerie Impulse here, and I'm going to go for... I'll go for the funny move. I'll go for Rock Blast. I'm going to kind of be on my opponent here, because they were going to probably cancel the battle anyway. Yep, okay, perfect. If I really wanted to be on, I would have clicked the special Tera Blast just to really, like, go in. But I'm not trying to make this battle past the 20-minute mark. I'm already at 2 battles, and I'm nearly there. And that's because this one took, like, 11 minutes. So, yeah, 2-0 for the day, though. We'll take it. Pretty much the same outcome where we just let off with Thundurus, and we ended up securing the game down with Dual Genie. So we'll see you guys in game number 3, though. Peace out. Okay, and for our final team today, I actually do think this was one where we could definitely get some mileage out of the Tera Poison Wo-Chien. Specifically, I think that, so they have Mousehold, Landorus, Armrouge. That's a fast Armrouge. That's a fast Armrouge. I'm just going to nip that in the bud right now. So we're going to, I think I'm just going to lead right off with Wo-Chien. I kind of like the idea of leading off with Wo-Chien and Heatran, in all honesty. Yeah, I kind of like the idea of leading off with Wo-Chien and Heatran. We do just need to really apply offensive pressure right away as quickly as possible. So I'm getting nightmares of this team, I can't lie. Just because the weakness policy Armrouge could be kind of a threat. I think I'm just gonna have to lead off with... No. I don't actually think this is the play. I think I lead off with... This is tough. This is actually very tough to just kind of plan around the best of 1 team with this. Because I only have the 1 chance to beat it. I don't know their Tera types specifically, for example. They're probably weak armor. They're almost certainly weak armor. I feel like that my lead is actually probably fine. And then just bringing the Flutter Mane as the backliner. Either Flutter Mane or Urshifu. I'm going to bring Urshifu. Actually, I'm going to ditch Flutter Mane. Urshifu just does way too good into this team, in all honesty. Especially just by spamming Surging Strikes and everything. Even if I did get a little too hung up on the Armrouge and probably Sneasler lead, in all honesty, maybe Mousehold, but probably Sneasler, then I still do have a lot of options actually with this, because the Tera Poison Wo-Chien will be good against any non-size spam lead. So yeah, I'm just gonna kind of have to see. So they do go with fuck, not a great lead for me, I can't lie. But this still can definitely be workable for sure. So what I'm gonna proceed to do, they're gonna lead off with Chien-Pao and Landorus. I overpredicted hard. Okay, so new plan. We're gonna go for Protect. I think I'm gonna have to Tera the Heatran into Fairy. Am I? We're really gonna make that play? No. That's not the play we're making. We're gonna go for Snarl right off. Actually, no, we're gonna go for Foul Play right off the bat into the Landorus. I am gonna go for the Tera Poison actually too. We're gonna go for Foul Play right into the Landorus. Meanwhile, I'm gonna switch out into my own Landorus. They're definitely not ice moving my Heatran. I know that for a fact. They're probably gonna go for like Ice Spinner or Protect on the Chien-Pao this turn, and then they're gonna go for either U-turn on the Landorus into Wo-Chien, or they're gonna go for a Stomping Tantrum into my Landorus. I doubt they click Earthquake, but even if they click Earthquake, between the -1 as well as the Tablets of Ruin, I really don't see them having a way to bring my Wo-Chien below like 60%, which just means Citrus was popping anyway. But we'll definitely take that. Okay, so Tera Poison Wo-Chien is finally popped. Let's see how much we could take on from a really, like this is this damning physical core. They do go for Tantrum, okay, perfect. They are also Scarf Landers, so they do have to go for that into Wo-Chien next turn, which I can actually take advantage of that pretty comfortably. Foul Play will go off. I know they're -1, but they still take a lot from that. Okay, so they definitely don't. They're 100% popping a Citrus either way doing this, so that means I could comfortably take both hits. I'm going to go for the Stomping Tantrum here, and I'm going to switch out back into Heatran. I think that there is a good I could also just go into Urshifu actually. Yeah, I'm gonna go into Urshifu actually, because so their Landorus is definitely gonna switch. Okay, perfect. Their Landorus switched. That's great. And then they're gonna probably go for either Ice Spinner or Protect. And either way, I'm fine with that. They're gonna go into Indeedee. Okay. So them bringing in Indeedee actually is very good for me because they're gonna go for Ice Spinner. That means they're just removing their priority. And if they're not going for Ice Spinner, they're probably going for Protect. Either way, this turn actually does have a lot of upside for me. This is a huge turn for me, actually. Their Icicle Crash. Okay. Icicle Crash actually makes a lot more sense here. I don't know why I wasn't able to tell they were Icicle Crash earlier. Ooh, that Snarl does that Foul Play does a lot of damage. Their Rocky Helmet. Okay, good to know. I'm gonna go for a Snarl this turn, and I'm actually gonna go for Protect on Urshifu. The reason for the Snarl is mostly just to break Focus Sash on Pow, which sounds a little bit kind of over-predicting, I guess, at this point, when I don't exactly know what I'm... Oh, they're gonna switch. Bring in the Arm Rouge, bring the Arm Rouge, bring the Arm Rouge. Landorus, okay, that's whatever, that's fine. Landorus is flying type, I can still Aqua Jet that, actually. So this is very fine. Plus, they're still gonna be just taking a lot of damage in general from Wo-Chien. I'm very okay with this. They're gonna go for Gleam this turn. Okay. I'm very fine with Gleam, actually. So Snarl's gonna go off. We do weaken the Indeedee a good amount, and we also are just weakening its damage output here. So I feel like that they're either gonna just target the Wo-Chien here, or they're gonna... Let me see. So I guess, does God Wo-Chien end up... My one deity, God Wo-Chien, Urshifu Rapid Strike versus Landorus. Choice Scarf Tera Flying with Tera Blast next to Tablets of Ruin. We probably don't take that. Okay, so Tera Flying, I don't really do a lot of damage to this. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go for Foul Play into the Landorus. I'm gonna make kind of a gimmick play. Well, not a gimmick. No, actually, I just go into Landorus. I was gonna say I'm gonna make kind of a gambly play and go into the Heatran and try and take the Tera Blast Flying better, but Landorus will still take it comfortably anyway. And by going for this, I can just take out their Landorus, which is great. We know my Foul Play rolls, so I'm pretty confident I can just take out their Landorus this turn. Worst case, it lives on a tiny bit, and I just go for something like a Rock Slide next turn. They're gonna go for U-turn. Okay. Whatever Mon they're bringing in, this should be a fine play for it. Because whether it's something like the Arm Rouge, it's taking a Foul Play still, which will do okay damage to Arm Rouge. I mean, it won't do great damage, but Arm Rouge is still Psychic type, so it will take super effective. If they bring in Pow, that's fine with Broken Focus Sash, and that's huge. I can go right into my Urshifu again, probably. I feel like Urshifu is probably the play there. Really just whatever they bring in. Pow, okay, perfect. So Pow is going to still take a Foul Play. Now I know this is a resisted hit, but it's still going to do a sizable amount of damage. So I'm pretty okay with this. They're going to, yeah, that's actually decent damage. I can just go for Giga Drain right into Pow here. And then I'm going to switch out, and I'm going to go right into Heatran here. Because we know that the lead composition can't really pressure this. They're not going for a fighting move objectively. They might, well, no, they would objectively always just go for Icicle Crash here. No matter what the Pow spread is, they always just go for Crash. Because they know 3 of my 4 Mons. They have no reason to actually suspect that I should be predicting around this. Yeah, okay, they're gonna switch out Indeedee. That's fine. This is kind of just a switch game at this point, but I'm very okay with that. Because they're just kind of burning through terrain turns. They're gonna bring in Landorus again. Okay, Landorus is fine. I can just go right into my own Landorus in all honesty at this point. They're gonna go for Crash. Are they gonna pop my Citrus on Wo-Chien? Pop Citrus on Wo-Chien. Okay, good. And I'll get the Giga Drain off as well, which is gonna be great. Just weakening this Pow again is gonna be so huge for me. And even if I need to sack my own, Landorus this time to an Icicle Crash Pow, I'm okay with that. Because I'm pretty sure after the -1 that they can't kill. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna go for a Foul Play into Landorus. And I'm gonna switch out, and I'm gonna bring in my own Landorus here. I do think that they're gonna play around this, and they're gonna anticipate and go for an Icicle Crash into my Landorus spot. But that just means that I can bring in my own Urshifu afterwards, and Urshifu will have a field day against this team. Even if they go for Icicle Crash into Wo-Chien, I'm very fine with that. So we'll just kind of have to see what my opponent ends up doing. They're gonna go for Protect. Okay, they're gonna go for Protect. So that actually is good information. I was kind of making this assumption that Pow might have been choiced with how they played it. They're gonna go for Earthquake. Okay, Earthquake is fine. I can make a very easy play around that, and frankly, Earthquake will not do shit to Wo-Chien. Yeah, actually takes pretty well. Foul play will go off. Does this kill? We do not kill. Okay. It's still honestly fine. I can still make this work very much in my favor. Now, what I'm going to need to do here, I'm going to need to go for a Protect because I do want Wo-Chien to stay around a little bit longer. And I'm going to go right into Urshifu here. They're going to probably switch out here. I'm almost certain they're going to switch out here. Probably Pow, to be honest. They do switch out Pow. Okay, that's fine. Even if they bring in a DD, though, Landorus being on the field is great for me because it's locked into Earthquake. They're going to go into Indeedee. All right. So this works out well. What I can proceed to do, so they're gonna probably go for Gleam. I mean, going for Gleam is fine. I'm not really too concerned. My Urshifu though will be having a field day at this point in a second because what I can actually manage to do, I can just go for a Giga Drain into. Well, actually, yeah, I'll go for a Giga Drain into the Indeedee, and I'm gonna go for an Aqua Jet into the Landorus. The logic in the play is that their Indeedee definitely dies Giga Drain at this point, definitively. And then meanwhile, if I'm going for Aqua Jet into Landorus, it is actually, I'll just go for, yeah, I'm gonna go for an Aqua Jet into Landorus. So Indeedee either needs to click Follow Me, which is whatever. But my goal here is essentially just to try and KO the Landorus with the, if they go for Follow Me, I kind of just need to take it. They go for Follow Me, unfortunate. Okay, and this is not a great play because they're gonna definitely kill. I could have maybe at least tried to switch out Wo-Chien here, I guess, into Landorus. Yeah, if I was making that play, I should have done that. They're going to lose their Indeedee either way, though, which is good. Oh, Wo-Chien takes it. Oh, right, because they don't have Pow next to them. Okay, so this kind of worked out, actually, anyway. Actually, if anything, yeah, I forgot the Pow, so I guess kind of it worked out, but it worked out for the wrong reason, to be fair, because I did not make the play under the assumption that Wo-Chien would be taking the hit, but it kind of worked. Again, right play, but for the wrong reason. But we'll take that either way. We've killed now both Indeedee and the Landorus. My Urshifu can be pretty damning here. They have Chien-Pao for sure, which is going to be kind of a hassle to play around, but I can still make it work. Okay, so my play is definitely to just try and fish for an Intimidate drop at this point. Wo-Chien has done its job. They're going to have Sneasler's the last one. Okay, there's Second Seed Sneasler. Good to know, good to know. So, I need to switch out the Wo-Chien. Not the Wo-Chien. No, I need to actually keep Wo-Chien around. We're going to go for Protect here, and I'm going to switch out Urshifu into Landorus. I'm going to need to kind of just play a bit of a switch game with this slot, and then just let Wo-Chien die naturally. And that will, I think, get me the best field positioning for their team. If they predict around this, I think I do kind of lose. But I need Terrain to be gone so I can Aqua Jet them safely into that house spot. And then I also just need to start dropping attack, like, objectively. Having Heatran in the back, though, will be pretty helpful for this. The Pow is probably just Dual Stab. I don't think it can do a lot to this. They're going to go for Rock Slide anyway. So the Sneasler's going for Rock Slide. They're trying to flinch, which is good to note. Ooh, they might have actually crashed. Sacred Sword. Okay, so they predicted the Heatran. I'm fine with that. Okay. So I need Wo-Chien to die this turn now. Which means that my best play, well, technically I don't need it to die. I just need it to not. I need to free up the turn, though. I'm going to go into Heatran. If they predict around this, it's fine. Essentially, my goal now is to try and bring in Landorus and Urshifu at the same turn. Landorus or Urshifu should open up a lot for me because I could just Aqua Jet the Pow pretty comfortably. Ooh, they're going for Sword Stance. That's a pretty rough turn. Okay, so there's Sword Stance and... Ooh, wait. Okay. Actually, this might be fine. This might be very fine. Specifically with the sequence of plays they made there, this might have actually suddenly become more winnable again. So they have Sword Stance from Rock Slide. They're probably just Dual Stab as the last moves, which is actually very okay. They never get a turn, though, where they're going to be able to just safely target me, which is good. And what I can actually do, I can kind of make a bit of a gamble here. But so it's a gamble. It's actually not even a gamble, really. It's actually probably my best play. I'm going to go for Foul Play, and I'm actually going to go for a Substitute here. Now, the logic in Substitute is because if they just kill my Heatran, if they attack my Heatran, they kill it. I don't really need to preserve Heatran anymore at this point, though. They're dropping defenses, which is huge, because they're now -1 physical defense, and they're +1 attack. This Foul Play will do a shit ton of damage. I now need to just bring in my Urshifu and just Intimidate cycle through them, while keeping Wo-Chien on the field. Oh, they just die. They just die. Holy shit. Actually, I forgot. This thing is like 60 Fizz Dev. Okay, I was going to... Well, Wo-Chien. Thank you, Wo-Chien. Deliver, and of course, you deliver the results. Thank you, Wo-Chien, for the 3-0 today. The only thing I will pray to, besides women. Yeah, Wo-Chien just fucking killed. Holy shit. I'm still so shook, to be honest. I know this was not my best commentary, I will say, but it was a fun video. It was a really fun team. It's the first time I played a team like this that went 3-0. It's the first time I played a team like this in ages that went positive on the channel. I'll take it. Like, it just goes to show that Joe really is just a fucking incredible builder, especially for the Mons. And again, it's nothing on the Mons. They're all very viable Mons. But when you see a team that made top 32 at Worlds, you don't think that it has Mons like Wo-Chien or Thundurus. You know, Mons that are objectively good, but they're not like noteworthy Mons in the metagame. Thundurus, for example, I'm pretty sure Thundurus barely has like 1% usage. Wo-Chien is definitely, at least pre-Worlds, it was below 1% usage. I'm sure that's went up because of Joe's team, for the record. But yeah, so even, still not even at 1%. In fact, I don't think that, Thundurus is a 3.49. It's actually a lot higher than I thought it would be, but Wo-Chien is not even at 1% though. Like these aren't Mons that you would think of as really noteworthy things, so that's fine. They're good picks for sure, but it just, again, just goes to show that Joe really just knows what he's doing, and it really, his season in general was also very indicative of that. He had an incredible season all year, so thank you for the team, Joe. Really great team. If you guys want to try it yourselves, the link is going to be in the description. I'm also going to link Joe's stuff. I know that he's been doing a lot of videos since Worlds has ended, so make sure to check his stuff out as well. Joe's an incredible battler, one of the best in the US, and really just in the world, to be honest. If you guys enjoy, though, and want to see more content like this, like and subscribe for more. And if you want to consider becoming a channel member today, we are going to be doing a Clefairy video on the first Sunday of the DLC, so that should be this upcoming Sunday. Well, not this upcoming Sunday, that would be tomorrow. It's going to be the Sunday after tomorrow, where we'll be doing a breakdown of Clefairy for VGC, where you guys can get the first insight to how Clefairy will be doing in the Regulation E metagame. With that said, though, our current channel members are going to be Zeke0, Mia, Timo Mueller, Sam, Rob Plays, Obo, Johanna Speed, Double, Endless Cats, and Bambambi. Thank you guys so much for your support. It means a lot. And I will see you guys tomorrow for another video. Until then, peace out, guys.